In last 20 minutes, 8 new brands have been launched. I see so many Gen Zs here and I'm so happy.
Were you the principal of college 30 years back?
Thankfully, no. When I used to watch Shah Rukh Khan movies, I didn't see it for the romance. I used to see it for the fashion. So, good evening everyone. So much energy, so much noise. I think it was time for some calm. So that's what we're going to show you now. In last 20 minutes, 8 new brands have been launched. Yeah. So when this opportunity was given by Images, thank you. And I was thinking this is the need of the hour. In last 5 years, there have been more brand launches that have happened than the previous 20 years. And we are going through some madness. Yeah. And the reason why we chose this panel, as you all know them, I have a story and that I would like to share with them and with you guys. So we have to go back a bit because I see so many Gen Zs here and I'm so happy. All of you launching brands, getting excited about retail and fashion. I'd like to share something. About 30 years back, I was in college and like everybody at that time, watching Shah Rukh Khan movies. While everybody
Were you the principal of college 30 years back?
Thankfully, no. But yeah, I had the opportunity to bunk those colleges. So when I used to watch Shah Rukh Khan movies, I didn't see it for the romance. I used to see it for the fashion. And when I used to come out on the street, boys and girls, when I used to come out on the street and look for something like that, trying to replicate that, trying to buy that, get into that kind of fashion, there were no malls, there was no mobile phone. Yeah. There was no Instagram, so on and so forth. There was nothing. But there was good fashion and I had very good time. I mean, I really enjoyed. And you know who were the people that were putting fashion in the stores? These people. And then my first job, fast forward 5 years, when I got the first job, and my first job was putting up the first mall in India, Forum Mall in Koramangala, 2004 we opened. The first mall, brands were started coming in, retail was changing, malls were coming in, mobile phone had come, and guess who put the stores and who put fashion in those malls? Again, these guys. Now, fast forward 20 years, 2026, AI, data, online, offline, D2C, so on and so forth, this madness is happening. And please give them a big hand. They are still here putting fashion in the store. So that is, I mean, that is time. That is time. So very quickly for you guys, and we had to choose this moment because everybody is so busy and there's no place to stand here. And you guys had to hear from them because we are seeing it, you are seeing it, that a brand is getting launched. First year, it reaches 25, 30 crores. Second year, 100 crores. Third year, 200 crores. Fourth year, the brand is not to be seen. Yeah. And then again, repeat. The same process repeats. So let's take a pause. All of you guys, let's take a pause and let's ask them these questions. Just 2 questions. What will the next decade of retail, where you guys are going to be there in forefront, what is the next decade of retail going to reward? And what will the next decade of retail punish? Yeah. But before that, I don't want to start with the word punish. I want to ask these gentlemen who have seen life in retail, what is one most valuable success that you saw personally, which you really cherish? It might not be big in numbers, but we'll start with that. Let's understand what success means from them. So what is that one valuable success that you had, which you really cherish and you're really proud of individually? Please start.
Oh, me?
Anybody?
I think betting on India, and I think India first design thought process because I started an international brand setting up in India. So I think that focusing on the Indian consumer, I think that really helps to build relevance. I think that is very important, whether it was 20 years back, today, or it's going to be the next 20 years. Building relevance is going to be very important. And the other thing I think, rather than one and say 2, I think it's also about we started to build an organization culture better on people rather than just sometimes you take a lot of shortcuts. I think creating organization cultures, building the team is another very big important part of this overall success. Whether when we now or 20 years from today, even with AI, some part will go, but a lot will still remain.
So you didn't go abroad, didn't take a job abroad, betted in India, gave his life to India. Fine. Vishal.
I think belief. What was very important through decades has been belief that we can create some of the best in the world. Right? Interestingly, two people who are part of some of those journeys, Shailesh, Nagesh, 25 years back in a Partners in Progress meet by Shopper Stop, Nagesh said, and I don't know, Nagesh, if you remember this, who knows, 25 years later, Perma Press will still be the number one, the product in Shopper Stop. And I can tell you this, every year we've improved the product, every year we made it better. It's the best equity shirt in the world, and it's still number one at Shopper Stop. So belief that you can create something which is truly world class, belief that you can create something which consumers value. I think that has been something which has been continuously rewarded over the years.
Guys, you can't get this in college, believe me. I mean, you have to really see this. So we have heard belief in India. Sorry, we heard India and then belief. Mr. Nagesh.
Three words: customer centricity, people connect, and ethical and value-led practices. I think that for me has been there in 1991, and today it stands, and I think it stands for the next 100 years.
Amazing. Shailesh.
There are moments in my professional career where at a point where you are comfortable, when I was comfortable, I have taken courage is the word, to disrupt my own career, right? So I was running very large portfolio of brands, and then saw this scope to build international brands in India. 2003, I think late Darshan Nepa and me were the two first professionals who sort of started bringing foreign brands to India. And whenever I used to go to Dera City Center in Dubai, and I used to say all these brands which are in Dera City Center would come to India one day, and either we partner with them or we fight them. And I felt that there's so much to learn. And then next sort of 25 years, I have sort of worked on building international brands in India from a very comfortable position to start with a zero base, low store. We signed brands, and 2004 and all, built some of the brands, and Tony CK, sort of, I worked 20 years building those brands. So that was the one to courage to disrupt your own career. And I'm at the same point today. In September, I left my role as the MD of a listed company, which we had turned around. And again, now I'm saying, Kujli aa rahi hai, how do I disturb my life? What do I do next? So that's the courage. And second thing is I would say somewhere kindness towards team and people. There are a lot of people who are my ex-colleague, Kami Sige. Everybody worked for 15 plus years. If somebody had worked 10 years, they said to bacha hai abhi, so he has to or she has to learn. And we had so much of longevity of career of partners, and Dapan Kapoor sitting here, or a lot of partners, Sambhav, I mean, we worked for everybody for 20 years without any problem. And I think somewhere the kindness that we emphasize, give respect to every store manager, every employees, everybody came home, we knew everybody's spouse, parents, they knew my wife, my son. There was a kind of the closeness, the kindness we build. I think that's a learning. I feel very good about that. We put focus on kindness in this corporate world. And last one sentence is that I work every Sunday evening 1.5 hours to prepare for the next week. I keep my notes ready. When I get up in the morning on Monday, I'm ready to face the work. And I think that habit has really been very, very useful and probably helped me achieve a little bit of success in my career.
This is the best example of work-life balance.
Well, the topic was 100 years of retail wisdom. So between them, actually, it might be somewhere around 150. I'm not counting mine though. So now let's get to the hard one, the tough one. So brands coming, brands failing. More brands launched in 5 years than last 20 years, and it is madness, and nobody knows what's going to happen in 10 years. And the second largest employing industry in the country after agriculture, and this is probably and plus the youngest population in the whole world. So with what is happening, please maybe 1 minute each, as time is commodity. What do you think? Because people are so excited about launching the product, getting it out there, and it's about celebration. Everybody is excited about the views and the hype and the internet response, and it is spiking and it is falling with the same speed. But you guys have seen time. You guys have seen decades. So what is that one advice you can give according to you? What is that next decade going to punish mercilessly if we fail to acknowledge that or see that? Who wants to start? Vineet, you want to start?
I think
1 minute, please. Yeah.
what next 10 years will punish is if you're not building customers, you're buying customers. And I think that's going to be a bigger representation, because I see so many brands, all this under 200 crores, buying so many customers, but you don't have customers. So next day no one turns up. If you stop the burner, then no one turns up battery. So I think building customer base, understanding that consumer, building product for that consumer, and I think having a differentiation of what you want to stand for in the market. Just don't copy paste. That's not going to work. It will work for a short term, but it's not something that you're building for 10 years.
Yeah, Vishak.
I would may take it in 3 pieces. What will surely work and will be an imperative for businesses is authenticity. Brands and businesses will need to be a whole lot more authentic. Consumers will figure what you're doing. Consumers will figure why you're doing things. So if you're a brand or a company without a deep purpose, and that purpose can't just be to make profit, right? If a company makes only profit, it's a very small company. So your purpose will have to be deeper than that. You will have to figure out what you stand for with them, and being authentic to that is going to be very critical. Real sustainability, it's high time real sustainability we make an impact in society, because I don't think you have a choice. If not, all of us are going to literally get wiped out. So real sustainability, the impact that you make to the environment, the impact you make to energy, to water, to waste, to eliminate cruelty, all of those are going to be very, very critical as organizations move ahead. And very critically, relationships. One thing that will continue to take you ahead in any business will be the strength of your relationships in the marketplace, the strength of your vendor partnerships, your customer partnerships, the entire supply chain. We've had the pride of having generations of relationships with business partners, including with your group, including with... I think it's very important that organizations recognize the importance of relationships beyond transactions and build them and nurture them. So these, I think, and of course the opposite of this would be for what you should not do, but that would be my critiques, I guess.
Mr. Nagesh.
So, I think firstly, short-term thinking will not work. A lot of brands are getting driven by investors' timeline rather than customer timelines.
Second is that if people look at India as a country, it's going to be a challenge. I think India has to look as a continent. If you go and look at Europe, not single brand has ever launched Europe together. It's always the country by country by country. It's only in India once any brand launches, that is Bengal, Mumbai is within the first 3 months. I think that's going to punish. The third thing is trying to do everything for everybody everywhere is not going to work, and the diversity worked because TG is becoming very sharp. And you took the word Gen Z, people are talking about Gen Z, but Gen Z and Gen A is becoming very minimalist. I think nobody is looking at the fact that our wardrobe had maybe 50 garments. Okay, our children's wardrobe is also running on 10 garments. And we as an industry are saying we grow by 7%, 10%. It is very critical. This is sustainability. It's very important for us to go deep into customer understanding and look at from customer's point of view as to what she is or he is looking at. I think that's the way that business will grow. And long term is the way in India. It cannot be short term of 3 to 5 years, 25 years, 35 years, 25 years, 40 years. Look at what we are. In a very subtle way, you told us all worldies are sitting here, and we acknowledge that. Thank you very much.
Knowledge, sir. This is our future. So they need to hear from you, learn from you. Silesh, what will the next decade punish mercilessly?
See, what I'm seeing, the brands which are succeeding are direct to consumer brands where product is very exciting. And when I say direct to consumer, these are the brands which can see the white of the eye of the consumer regularly. There are very few channels in between. There is so much change happening in the world. The consumer habits are changing that if you're not directly servicing the customers and you have a lot of channels in between, you will not lose out. And when I say exciting product, where the product cost is a very large part of the MRP. In our industry, everybody wants to multiply cost of goods sold to MRP by 4. And all the brands which are taking share in the world are at 2, 2.5. Whereas Primark or if Zara or Uniqlo had a bumper winter in India right now. I mean, they've done so well across, and they don't even multiply by 3 because indirectly what we're saying is the product is they're investing a lot in product, and product is a very large cost, is a very large part of the MRP. And to achieve that, they reduce all the expense, all the unnecessary costs. They become very efficient. They reduce the channel costs. They reduce discounting. And in fact, I would say the single parameter PK will differentiate a successful business unsuccessful is the percentage discounting. And everybody that 12-15%, all the successful brands are in single digit. So they reduce discounting, they reduce channel costs, they reduced many occupancy costs, partner costs, and with direct consumers, you're also responding faster to consumers, and channels actually slowed down the decision making. So brands which will succeed will be direct to the consumers, where their multiplier source cost to MRP is very tight, and they become very efficient to be able to make money in that tight margin. And the reverse will get punished. Wholesale mindset, multi-channel, large multiplier from cost to MRP, slow decision making, inward focus, not consumer focus, they get punished by the consumer.
Okay, so somebody said there's a difference between a celebration and a reward. Celebration is momentary. It goes up fast, and it comes down fast, and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of noise in that. But however, reward is a little more slower process. It is like calm power. It develops. It takes time. So keeping these things in mind, while you guys have touched upon it, can we discuss what is it that will reward in the coming years? Because things are going to change dramatically and we really don't know. So what is the reward going to come from? I mean, which attribute, which aspect of business, anything that you have to focus? We spoke about sustainability, we spoke about customer centricity, we spoke about understanding customer needs and so on and so forth. Is there something that you would like to say where reward will predominantly occupy? Yeah, Vinny.
I think the next decade or so, I think something that will get rewarded, and businesses that will get rewarded are businesses that either obsession is about customers, on product, on data, consumer experience. And I think they're not working for the hype, but are working for consistency. So I think if you have obsession for that and you're passionate for that, definitely that is going to be rewarded. It's going to take time, but nothing is delivered so quickly. So I think that's something I think here obsession about all this parameter.
Absolutely. Anybody else? One thing that you see will reward the entrepreneurs.
To me, be able to build trust. I think trust is the only word which will bring customers back again and again, irrespective of whatever it is. I mean, that could include the word of authenticity, that could include the word of brand. But how do you build trust with your consumer?
Phenomenal. Just said it. Sailesh, you want to add something?
This, really different aspect of business. Today, there is so much of liquidity of funds in the market worldwide. Interest rates are very low level. Countries have printed notes. I think, there is so much of venture capital available in the market today in India, risk capital, which was not there, 10 years, 15 years back. I would say it's a very fundamental change that has happened, that people are willing to bet on new businesses and putting money, the whole enterprise, the risk capital. I think that risk capital also rewards lightly. Today, that entry barrier of capital is actually reducing. It'll never go away. Capital will always be important. But I think for one, a lot of youngsters, we should, take this in heart, that today it would raise a capital where money is available if you have good ideas. There is a risk capital in India which didn't exist earlier. Today it's available, and that availability of funds will also reward good ideas.
I think I'm getting timer response. I don't know if we have time for question and answers, but we are a lot of entrepreneurs here, young entrepreneurs, and you saw these products. I mean, we were just here and we saw so many new products getting launched. One advice that you'd like to give them? I mean, if they were to ask you, give me an advice. Mr. Nagesh, let's start from you. One advice, and you're getting it free of cost, yeah?
Build your business by creating value for every stakeholder, not a valuation for yourself.
Value and not valuation. So, yeah. Vishak.
I would say first come with strong belief. Okay, test your belief. Is your product truly superior, truly differentiated? Can it truly make a difference to anybody's life? Okay, if it is just going to replace something which already exists, and maybe it's not that big an idea, ask yourself, do you truly have a superior value proposition? That with belief, and after that, a whole lot of perseverance. Just hang in there and keep at it. If you believe that you got something superior, and if you believe that a thought of yours, just hang in there with perseverance, and more often than not, you will get that success.
Anybody else?
I would say
These guys are entrepreneurs themselves. Now, the other two who are going to speak, so I think they're going to advise themselves now, because
simple message is keep your word. You say what you mean, and once you said something, please stick to your word. And
phenomenal.
we Indians are known for jugaad and thought short, but that's not what we should be known for. We should, once we commit something, we should honor it.
Okay, I think we had enough, and thank you for that opportunity. We wanted to slow down and hear this, because this is coming from lived 100+ years of experience. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity. There is no time for question and answers, but it's an honor to have them together, and many more retail brands will be launched. But one learning is pause, reflect, understand, and then run. Thank you.